What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's jump right into the topic of this video. Day 2 of the NFL draft. The Raiders went ahead and made some moves. They initially started the night with the 37th overall pick, and they made a trade down to accumulate more picks. They traded with the Miami Dolphins, trading back from pick 37 to the 48th pick. The Raiders sent their 37th and 143rd overall pick for the Dolphins 48, 98, and 135th pick. So the Raiders made us wait a little bit, but after that they doubled down even further, trading back once again on the night, trading back with the Texans. This time they traded their 48th pick in exchange for the 58th pick and the 99th pick of the NFL draft. When it comes to the draft, really anytime there's a possibility to trade down, you definitely have to consider it. It's pretty simple, man. The more picks you have, the more probability you will have to select a good player. So the Raiders went ahead and stockpiled on picks in day 2 of the draft. And eventually the Raiders finally made a pick with the 58th overall pick. They selected TCU wide receiver Jack Beck. And when it comes to Beck, he is a big body wide receiver, big frame, a sure-handed wideout, doesn't really have great top-end speed, a very solid, savvy route runner. He has a 70% completion rate this season. He's a physical, reliable playmaker, and he's also got some resilience, a chip on his shoulder. Everything clicked for him last season. He had 62 receptions, a little bit over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, only 1 drop on 91 targets. He had a 68.4 contested catch rate. Like I said, a very sure-handed wide receiver. Also, he averaged 16.7 yards per catch, showcasing that he's more than just like a short yardage type of guy. At 6'1", 214 pounds, he is a physical specimen. Now, he's not a burner, but he is pretty quick in short areas. Now, overall, his game is all about physicality and his savviness as a route runner. He's sneaky when it comes to this department, and he has great hands. He is a sure-handed wide receiver. He can catch passes in traffic, can also box out wide receivers with his big frame on contested catches, on back shoulder throws, that sort of situation. And also when it comes to after the catch, I mean, he's a physical guy. He's not an easy guy to bring down. So that's the one thing I can kind of see with his offense. We got a lot of players that aren't very easy to tackle, and that could be a nightmare for defenses down the road. You got a guy like Brock Bowers, great athlete, can get yards out of the catch. And now we got Ashton Genty, an absolute nightmare when it comes to trying to bring him down. So the Raiders could be trying to build a certain type of identity on the offensive side of the football, and that will rely around physicality and trying to wear down opposing defenses. Overall, his route running is crisp, relying on jab steps, head fakes, and tempo changes to create separation, especially on slants, crossers, and dig routes. Now, the one thing I kind of seen so far with him is it seems like his best production has been in the slot, but he can also play on the outside. And although he's not a deep threat, he can win vertically on post routes, on back shoulder throws. And he's just really a guy that sometimes you can just throw it up to him and let him make a play on the ball. And also one thing about him too, he has a tight end background as a player. Started off his career as a tight end at LSU, eventually transitioned to the wide receiver position, and that's kind of what has molded his game. He's that big body wide receiver. And also he has an interesting story. He's coming off of some adversity. On New Year's Day in 2025, his brother was tragically killed in the New Orleans terrorist attack. And that was a big part of him going into this offseason. And he used this as a motivation to perform in the Senior Bowl, where he did absolutely phenomenal. He was the Senior Bowl MVP in that game. Now, the only thing I will say about this pick is you can maybe argue that it was a little bit of a reach, as most NFL draft experts had him projected to be a late day 2 player, possibly even an early day 3 player. So maybe the Raiders reach a little bit, but I will say it is a fit. It is a position of need. The Raiders currently really don't have a player like this when it comes to that big body, dependable wide receiver. And that's what they're getting in Jack Beck. But realistically, I see him being more of a dependable wide receiver 3 type of player in the league. Potentially, you know, if he continues to develop, maybe he could be a good wide receiver number 2 down the road in his career. His ability to win in the intermediate range and his ability to get yards out of the catch could fit the Raiders' play action type of philosophy that they are more than likely going to run, trying to get a good emphasis on the run game and building off of that. Overall, too, this is definitely a culture fit. He's bringing that same blue collar mentality that Ashton Jeanty brought. Now, the only thing that concerns me about him is his lack of vertical speed. I do think the Raiders need a legit deep threat. I don't really know if he's going to give you that on a consistent basis. Also, too, I feel like we really needed like a true outside X wide receiver. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that consistently, as I did see a lot of his best production came in the slot. And the one thing is, I mean, right now we got Jacoby Myers. We also got Brock Bowers that's going to get a lot of utilization in the slot. I don't want all our wide receivers to thrive in the slot. I think we need a little bit of variety on this sense. Like I said, I did want that true outside the numbers type of wide receiver. Now, he's a sure-handed guy. He's going to be a chain mover, more of a possession wide receiver. But like I said, he's not easy to bring down either. He's very physical, and I do like that. He does fit the culture they're trying to bring. He's a locker room leader type of guy. He's willing to block, play special teams, do the dirty work. And overall, I feel like he could be a good complement to this wide receiver room. And with our next pick in day 2, with our 68 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Raiders selected Iowa State cornerback Darien Porter, a tall, fast, and physical defender that is ready to make plays. Now, Porter committed to Iowa State in 2019, but his early college days didn't see a whole lot of the field. He started off as a wide receiver, was then stuck on special teams, but he thrived in special teams during those years. By 2023, he became a rotational corner for Iowa State, and that eventually led to his breakout season last year. Last season was his coming out party. His first year as a full-time starter, he had 3 interceptions, 2 pass breakups in 12 games, allowed just 5 receptions on 17 targets, which is a 29.4 completion rate, posted a 4.7 passer rating when targeted, only second in the FBS behind Travis Hunter. He had a 90.1 PFF coverage grade, 7th amongst cornerbacks, and 2nd in the Big 12. And he's 6'2", 197 pounds, 33-inch arms, and a 79-inch wingspan. So this guy is a physical freak. He had a 4.3 40-yard dash, a 36.5-inch vertical, and a 131-inch broad jump at the 2025 NFL Combine, which earned him a 9.9 relative athletic score, one of the highest for a cornerback ever. And he does have a track and field background, which has allowed him to be a speedy cornerback. He can run stride for stride with the receivers on go routes, and he can use his length to high point balls and disrupt passes. He did really good in zone coverage. Now, some of the downfalls with him is he does have a little bit of inexperience, as he only has 1 full season as the full-time starter at the cornerback position. Sometimes he can have some issues in man coverage where he has tight hips and a slow change of direction, getting exposed by quicker, shiftier wide receivers. But he made a special impact in special teams. He had 4 block punts and 1 block kick over his career. Now, this guy is really seen as the ultimate Pete Carroll cornerback. If you kind of look at the track record of the type of DBs that the Seattle Seahawks would select when Pete Carroll's over there, a lot of times they're going for tall, lengthy, athletically gifted cornerbacks, and that is one thing that I've noticed thus far this offseason. We've been getting a lot of players that have great physical traits on the defensive side of the football. So you can definitely see where Pete Carroll is starting to leave his fingerprints on this defense. Now, in this point of his career, I don't know if he's a plug-and-play starter. And just with his height and speed, he reminds me a little bit of like a Tyreek Woolen type of cornerback. Like I said, the style cornerback that Pete Carroll has been known to take back to his Seattle Seahawks days. He's a really good zone cornerback. But overall, I like this pick. I like the type of upside he could bring to the table for the Raiders. Cornerback is also a position of need. And to cap off day 2 of the NFL Draft, the Raiders, with back-to-back picks, 98th and 99th overall pick, they address the offensive line. They address the trenches. I love this. I thought this was something that we definitely needed to address this offseason. The Raiders did it at the end of day 2, and they got 2 very interesting prospects. First, at 98, they got Caleb Rogers out of Texas Tech. He's more than likely projected to be a guard. He's a 6'5", 313-pound lineman that is very versatile. He's an athletic mauler with 55 consecutive starts and experience at 4 different positions on the offensive line. He's a durable 5-year starter with over 4,300 snaps, mostly at right tackle and left tackle, but his future very likely is going to be in the interior at the guard position, where his athleticism and power shine the most. Now his pros, like I said, first, the versatility, played right tackle, left tackle, right guard and left guard, has a high football IQ, which makes him a great swing type of lineman. He has experience at different roles. So although he will play guard, I assume more likely right guard, but if another player goes down at the left guard position or even at the tackle position, he can fill in an emergency type of situation. He has really good athleticism for an offensive lineman, does a good job pulling, hits second level linebackers, and cuts off backside defenders in zone schemes. And overall, he's a physical player. He's a nasty finisher that plays through the whistle and is very durable. He has never missed a start, a vocal leader too, and was a captain at Texas Tech. Now the cons are his short arms. That's why he's projected to be a guard. He has inconsistent footwork and hand placement, but overall this is a high floor backup type of player, at least to start, but he has upside to be a starter. He's going to add great depth to this offensive line. Versatile as hell, physical player with good upside. I really like this pick. And at 99, the Raiders went offensive tackle Charles Grant. And this guy is a physical freak, 6'4", 311 pounds. He's a 3-year starter at the left tackle position in a run-heavy scheme. Now he's seen more of as an upside project type of player, projected to be left tackle. And overall, I really like this. I think Kolton Miller, especially with that whole contract situation, I don't necessarily think we need to move on from him right now, but I do think there's a chance that Kolton Miller thus far in his career has already peaked, and I do not mind the idea of potentially drafting the future replacement of Kolton Miller, and that's what this guy brings. He has elite athleticism. He also comes from a wrestling background. I like that when it comes to the trenches. You need to get physical, nasty, have that type of mindset, set the tone. He has good length, he has long arms, and an 81-inch wingspan that gives him a massive strike zone. And that's why he has good upside as a tackle. He's good when it comes to run blocking. Now, the weaknesses is mainly the technique. He still is a raw talent overall. And he's coming more from a run-heavy scheme. So I think when it comes to pass protection, he is going to have to develop this and have to work at this. But overall, this is a developmental left tackle that fits the Raiders' long-term potential need at this position, and the athleticism and the upside this guy brings is a fantastic pick. I like the selection. I love that we're addressing the trenches, and overall you see a theme thus far with this NFL draft and just the offseason in general. The Raiders are going for guys that got great physical traits and that are physical players. That shows you the identity and the type of mindset Pete Carroll is trying to build with this football team. They're trying to be a hard-nosed, tough, physical team like the Raiders of the past. But overall, Raider Nation, I like what we did in day 2 of the draft. We traded back on 2 different occasions. We stockpiled on a lot of picks. We had 4 total players we selected today. It was a busy day for the Raiders. We addressed some positions of need. And like I said, I love stockpiling on picks. The Raiders have a bunch of different needs. We need to address the depth of this team, get more young talent on this football team. Maybe our first pick with Jack Beck was a little bit of a reach, but he definitely fits the culture and he's a solid player overall. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of what the Raiders did in day 2 of the NFL draft. Let me know in that comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that is all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.